There's one thing about the March for Life. Nobody is there to march for themselves. Nobody is demanding anything for themselves. Just think about that. Nobody, not one single person, if there are 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 people in the march, not a single one of them is going to be there marching for their own rights. Because everybody marching has already been born. If we're not counting the many pregnant women that are going to be there with babies in the womb. So all the people who made the choice to get into a car or a bus and drive to the march, they're marching there. They are there for others. Okay, they're there for those who cannot be there. In any other kind of march that you can think of, it's always people there for the most part. Now, there may be some people who show up who are, there to support, but for the most part, predominantly, in any other kind of march, the people there are saying, I want my rights. I want respect for me and dignity and whatever else for myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. If the cause is just, then there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with marching for your own rights. It's a good thing to do, an American thing to do. The problem, of course, with the Women's March is that they weren't marching for their own rights because women already have, to the exclusion of unborn females, women already have all the same rights as men. So they weren't marching for it. They already have all the rights. What they wanted was, like free birth control and those kinds of things. So they were demanding things that are not rights. They were demanding extra entitlements. So that is an unjust cause. But there are plenty of other rights and demonstrations that have happened throughout history, throughout American history, where the cause was just and it's good that people came to demand their rights. But in this case, the people who are being deprived of their rights cannot march for obvious reasons. So others are there in their place. And here's the other powerful thing. Despite what you may be told, and I want you to, if you can't make it out to the march, if you're not going to be there, after the march has happened, try to find some footage of it. It's going to be kind of difficult to find actual footage of the march because the mainstream media, they're not going to show you. Now they might mention it. They might make a quick mention of anti-abortion demonstrators are in D.C. Or what they'll like to say is something like people are in D.C. today. Demonstrating on either side of the abortion issue. Meanwhile, there are 400,000 pro-lifers and like 10 pro-abortion people, and the mainstream media will portray it as if it's kind of an even split, right? But what they won't do, they won't show you a huge kind of panoramic view of all the people who showed up. They're not going to show you that. So it might be hard to find it, but if you go to like pro-life sites, LifeSite News or something like that, you can find it. And I would recommend, or go on social media, go on Twitter, and look at the pictures, because what you're going to notice is that despite what you're told, it's not a bunch of old white men there who are trying to control women's bodies. Now, there are going to be some old white men, which, great, God bless them. They are needed in the movement as well. But most of the participants in the March for Life, and most pro-life activists in general, are younger, and most are women. So these are young women, predominantly. So think about that. Not only are these young women marching for others, aside from themselves, but they're marching demanding laws that would, in a sense, restrict their own legal rights. Okay, they are marching demanding laws that would deprive themselves of certain legal powers that they currently possess. So they're saying, no, these women who march in the March for Life, what they're saying is, no, I should not have the right or the ability or the power to take innocent life. I should not have that right. That is not a real human right. I shouldn't have it. Take it from me. And in exchange, give basic human dignity and human rights to the unborn.